I realized when I was about 28, right, that I had been trying really hard to beat. I mean, you'll notice a common theme with a lot of my stories, but I have one central person that I was trying to prove for a very long time, which was my father. And we're on good terms, by the way, because I always get that question. But this was after I left, and he disapproved of my whole thing. And for 5 years, we didn't talk very much. And so he calls me up he says, hey, you're going to want to sit down for this. And so he says, I'm sorry. And I was like, for what? Now, mind you, like, this is a Middle Eastern father born in Iran to a Middle Eastern father there who was even more legit. Like, where my father was born, women weren't allowed to drive cars. Cars came with drivers with them when you bought them. The driver came with the car. Or like, he was born in a very different world. Like, fathers don't apologize to sons. It just wasn't that way. And I have a little bit more awareness than I did then. But for me, I was like, now you apologize? You know what I mean? And so rather than take it for the olive branch that it was, I said, I didn't care about your opinion 5 years ago when I left. And he was like, well, we'll see how long your success lasts. And so what could have been a really nice exchange ended up becoming pretty ugly. But the main point there was that I wanted to, in the beginning, like, make as much as my father. Then it was make more than my father. And then it was make more than my father had ever made in his entire life. And once I had achieved that, I realized that, as much as, like, it sounds terrible to say this, but like, I was trying to beat him at his game. And this is pretty alive in a lot of Asian cultures. Same thing. Making money is a big, like, when my dad would introduce somebody, he'd be like, this is so-and-so, he makes this much a year. Like, so it was just really clear, like, this is how much status someone has. But it was only when I realized that I had won at his game that I realized I'd never even asked the question of, like, what game am I trying to win? And I don't know how many people are actually trying to win at a game that they didn't even set the rules up for.
So many. When
they're in it. And that's why I say, like, I think I was fortunate that I hit a really tough goal, because my dad is a successful man, relatively early on.